Residential sales comparison and income approaches. Help. Documents. Email instructor. CH6 market conditions. KG25 market conditions, supply and demand. Notes print. Leave a comment. Market conditions, supply and demand. The most important factor in market conditions is supply and demand. It affects all economic goods, not just real estate. Assume that you owned a small house in the California foothills in 1847. Your neighbors were farmers or ranchers, and there was not much movement in the area. You built your house for $100 and figured you'd be lucky to sell it for roughly the same amount if a buyer could indeed be found. Then in 1848, gold was discovered 15 miles away. Within just a year, the gold rush was on, and hundreds of thousands of newcomers flocked to the state. Not only is your house suddenly worth 5, 10, or even 50 times its original value, but so is everything else on your property, with miners willing to pay $1 for a single egg. Why? Because there aren't enough homes, eggs, chickens, or anything else, for that matter, to meet demand. End of page. Chapter start. 38%. Residential sales comparison and income approaches. Help. Documents. Email instructor. CH6 market conditions. KG26 market conditions. Notes print. Leave a comment. Market conditions. Research into market conditions will also tell you how quickly properties ought to be turning over. In a hot market, properties should sell quickly. So, a sale that took 6 months of exposure might be a red flag, alerting you to possible issues with the property during a period when demand exceeded supply. 6 months might be a relatively short period of time, however, if the market is saturated, the economy is sluggish, or the region is experiencing other financial or social difficulties. Market condition trends are essential if you're appraising income property, as you will need to prepare cash flow forecasts. A survey of current rents is not sufficient. Rents can fluctuate as a function of both the economy and the supply/demand quotient. End of page. Chapter start. 38%. Residential sales comparison and income approaches. Help. Documents. Email instructor. CH6 market conditions. KG27 steps for evaluating the market. Notes print. Leave a comment. Steps for evaluating the market. You will need to be very specific when you analyze market conditions for your subject and comparables used in the sales comparison approach. Answer the following questions. What and where? Specify the geographic area and type of property you are describing. Market conditions for a retirement community may be very different from conditions for condos or single-family homes. Conditions on one side of town may be different from those on the other. The market for one-bedroom homes will probably differ from the market for 3- or 4-bedroom homes. Old houses may be selling more quickly than new ones, or vice versa. When, in what stage of the life cycle does your subject market area fall? Short-term is typically more important than long-term in this regard, unless your market has moved from one long-term cycle to another during the study period. Also, estimate how long the current cycle is expected to last. Supply/demand. Determine whether there is excess supply, excess demand, or a relative condition of equilibrium for your type of property in the market area. At the same time, describe how great the excess, or lack, is. A 10% excess will have a very different effect than a 50% excess. A quick way to check is to examine the number of current listings in a market area, and then how many have sold in a recent time frame. If there are 20 houses on the market now, and 5 sold in the last year, you are looking at a 4-year supply of homes currently on the market. But if 40 houses sold in the last year, then the current 20 listings represent only a 6-month supply. End of page. Chapter start. 38%. Residential sales comparison and income approaches. Help. Documents. Email instructor. CH6 market conditions. PG28 market condition factors. Notes print. Leave a comment. Market condition factors. Making market condition adjustments is not as easy as one might think. That's because values do not always increase in a straight line. They are, in fact, impacted by numerous, interdependent forces. They can stay flat for 6 months, and then start to either skyrocket or plummet because of external factors like interest rates or national security concerns. Never assume that a difference in sales price is due solely to time elapsed. When you are comparing dates of sale, check all of the other factors that contribute to sales price before arriving at a dollar amount adjustment. Double-check your market conditions adjustments by looking for other evidence of changes in market conditions. Although these may not give a hard and fast percentage to use, they will nevertheless back up your assumptions, prove that the market was in a state of flux, and indicate the direction of change. What indicators can help you determine if market conditions are changing? List at least 5 factors on a piece of scratch paper. End of page. Chapter start. 38%. Residential sales comparison and income approaches. Help. Documents. Email instructor. CH6 market conditions. PG29 market condition factors. Notes print. Leave a comment. Market condition factors. Here is a list of some factors that can help you analyze changes in market conditions. Changes in the area's demographics. Changes in typical exposure time on the market. Foreclosure rates in the area. Increases or decreases in residential rents. Instances of seller financing. Nearby development. New construction available for sale. Quantity of offers received by sellers. Relationships between asking prices and closing prices. Terms of available financing. Trends in listing prices. Volume of properties available for sale. Zoning changes. End of page. Chapter start. 38%.
Sometimes market conditions adjustments are relatively straightforward and easy to extract. As an example, a house sold 14 months ago in an arm's length transaction for $160,000. The same house sold again 2 months ago for $176,000. Your research shows that no major improvements were made to account for the increase in value, and that this was also an arm's length sale. Because both sales were for the same piece of property and the sales occurred at the same time of the year, you could logically conclude that values have gone up by 10%. 176,000 minus 160,000 is $16,000, divided by $160,000, which is the base, equals 10%. This is called a sale and resale comparison. It provides the best data for a market conditions adjustment. It represents the perfect paired data analysis. 2 sales with only one significant difference. If you have additional data that supports this appreciation rate, you can then use this figure to make adjustments for other comparables. The above example is an easy one. Most often, however, you will not have such a tidy set of data. Instead, you must do considerable market research to become familiar with prevailing conditions.
residential sales comparison and income approaches. Help. Documents. Email instructor. CH6 market conditions. PG31 sale and resale. Notes print. Leave a comment. Sale and resale. You may not always be able to find sales and resales that you can use for every occasion. However, they do occur occasionally. Keep your eyes open and look for them. Every time you find a valid sale and resale of the same property, first check to make sure that no improvements were made to the property, and then keep it on file. Maybe set up a special folder or spreadsheet so that you can easily retrieve these pairs of sales when needed. Other evidence of trends may be found in group sales. You might not be fortunate enough to find an exact sale and resale of the same property. However, you may have abundant evidence that properties of a certain class, perhaps similar models, in a subdivision, sold 6 months ago for $300,000 and now are selling generally for $320,000. End of page. Chapter start. 39%. 39%.
Condition adjustments and location adjustments are generally calculated on a percentage basis. That's the way people think. We constantly see studies and analyses in which median prices or average prices are said to have appreciated 5.6% or declined 4.8% over the last year or some other time frame. Percentages are great equalizers. If we stick with raw numbers, sometimes it's hard to see or judge relationships. I could tell you that prices of 3-bedroom houses on the average rose $20,000 over the last year. That can mean different things to different people depending on your frame of reference. If you live in a $100,000 house, that would indicate a healthy increase. If you live in a $1 million house, that would amount to peanuts. But if I said that a study indicates the value of your house rose by 12% last year, that would be meaningful. So our starting point is usually to try to measure a change in market conditions in terms of a percent change. Then, in the final step, we convert that percentage into a dollar amount when making an adjustment in the sales comparison grid.